I get shivers, man, holy. Every once in a while, a product comes around that truly changes an entire industry, turns it on its head, so to speak. And today, my friends, apparently is that day for an industry that has been around way fucking longer than I have. This pair of headphones, the brand new Sennheiser HDB 630s, might not look anything too special, but if the measurements, that is, well, the most objective way we can try to like quantify how something sounds, are anything to be believed, these are the only headphones you should probably be buying. These apparently sound as good as $60,000 headphones that people purport to make them cry. I know that's an insane way to introduce some like pretty normal looking headphones, but I've had some very trusted people in the audio industry tell me that these are the real deal, and I'm not just gonna take their word for it. We're gonna test these on a actual HATS head and torso simulator, the proper device you're supposed to use to test headphones. But for now, let's get them open. I mean, they do look pretty nice right off the bat. Wow. Whoa, they're already on. Okay, cool. Let me take them off for a second. On the ear cup here, we have a touch-sensitive surface that allows you to do some gesture controls like changing the volume. You can accept a call or decline it, or pause or play your music. We've also got a button down here for pairing, turning the headphones on and off, and then activating your voice assistant. It's USB-C charging. It has, and part of why this thing really is a category killer, an analog input, but you can also use the USB-C to stream from your PC, which is super cool. They use Bluetooth. They have a microphone right there. They're seemingly pretty adjustable. It's not the kind that has like a clicky action, but if we stick them on my head and kind of set them where I think they should be, doesn't seem like they move around. We've got an included USB-C to C, it seems to be about a 5-foot cable. Wow, imagine that, including a cable with headphones. Insane. Apple wouldn't know what that's like. We have the analog audio cable. Woohoo! Thank God. It uses like a mini jack on the headphone side. I don't actually remember what that one is called, but it's 3.5 mil to whatever that is. When you plug it in, it actually just turns on flight mode, which is cool, so Bluetooth goes off, but I mean, there's like, what devices support analog outputs these days? Laptops do. We've got propaganda telling you how to use it. We've got some compliance information. And then the other really interesting part of these headphones, they come with this adapter called the BTD 700. And this allows you to connect these supposedly god tier sounding headphones in a high resolution way to devices that don't necessarily support it. For instance, on the iPhone, whereas with this dongle, you can use an iPhone with aptX HD or aptX Adaptive, some of the highest end wireless protocols. So you're not listening to these lovely 42mm dynamic drivers made in Ireland over like 96 kilobit audio. That's not good, but what is apparently good is the battery life too. On the Sennheiser spec page, they say up to 60 hours off of these. I mean, naturally in this form factor, you have a ton more space for battery than you would in say something like AirPods or like Sony's XM5 earbuds, but 60 hours is still really good. And I'm gonna get this crap out of here so we can just listen to these things. Did you know you can EQ these things? Did I mention that yet? Are you listening, Apple? Huh?
We're listening?
EQ. Crazy, right? Imagine that. Now imagine you're trying to watch your favorite show, only to find out that it's now blocked in your country. That's where a VPN like today's sponsor, SurfShark, can help. With over 3,200 servers, SurfShark can easily mask your connection to make it look like you're in any of the 100 countries they support, which is doubly good for when you're going to book travel to test out your new Sennheiser headphones active noise cancellation, and you want to get the best price because flights and hotels can sometimes have different prices depending on the country you're booking from, and SurfShark allows you to mask that and mask your identity and your traffic also for security reasons. You can also use your account on as many devices you would like. They have a no log policy that was independently verified by Deloitte earlier this year. And best of all, if you go to surfshark.com/Jakku or hit the link in the description or just use code Jakku, you can get 4 months of Surfshark for free on top of your subscription. And hey, they even have a 30-day money back guarantee, so go check it out. Let's go, Arlo. Now, right off the bat, the noise cancellation on something like this is never gonna really be as good as an in-ear headphone because there's just more noise isolation. All your hair and like stuff going on here, that is ever so slightly breaking the seal between the headphones and your head. Whoa, I just turned the noise cancellation off. I mean, it's pretty good, man. Double tap. Double tap to turn the ANC back on. Okay, I got you. Now, how do I pair this thing? So you're supposed to connect these to your phone with normal Bluetooth first. Once that's connected, you then plug the dongle in with the headphones on, and it should also then pair those directly with the dongle to switch between using the dongle or Bluetooth, or if you don't have the dongle plugged in at all, then it's just gonna use normal Bluetooth and Bob's your uncle, everything's fine. Now, in order to get the highest resolution Bluetooth signal possible, I had to enable the high-res mode and then restart the headphones. Hey, look at that! We're in aptX adaptive mode, that's so cool! Now, there are a few other weird things you can do with the dongle. If you press it twice, it goes into this yellow Auracast mode, which allows you to do a Bluetooth low energy stream to multiple headphones that support it. And then you can also do 3 taps to go into gaming mode, which I assume is lower latency. How do I get out of gaming mode? Press it 3 times maybe? Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. I'm using Tidal for the listening testing today because they do have lossless music support finally. And you can see that we're playing a 24-bit 48 kilohertz FLAC file. These sound f***ing great. I get shivers, man, holy. Holy fuck, dude. I'm listening to them at like fully max volume and they sound flawless.
I mean, don't do that.
My hearing's f***ed.
Oh, it could be more f***ed.
Oh, it can be. I have like no hearing above like 12, maybe even 10 kilohertz. This is my homie DMS.
Hello.
This guy is a fucking nerd, but like
True.
My kind of nerd.
That kind.
The kind of nerd that is obsessed. The kind of nerd that has weird fucking ears in his house. Now these are very special ears. These probably cost a lot of money.
Brother, the wall. There's a wall right behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He likes headphones.
Just a little bit, if you couldn't tell.
So this is what we're here for. The BNK Type 4128.
4128C.
4128C. It's a HATS, or head and torso simulator.
The C on the bottom of that costs a fortune because that's everything from his neck down.
That's just the torso.
It's just the torso, yeah. The C is the torso.
Huh. The reason this thing exists, what this is doing, has some very special microphones in there, and obviously our fake ear, like I told you before. And what he's doing over there is playing a frequency sweep from very low, down in 20 hertz, all the way up to 20,000 hertz. Basically the range of human hearing. And that measures how the headphones sound across the entire frequency response range. And then that's what the squiggly lines are. This ear is like the average of several hundred other people's ears. Yeah. It's kind of a funny thing where it's not representative of anyone's ear because it is so many people's ears put together.
So that's why when I do testing, I test on, a head and torso simulator like this guy, test on another one, and then also test on a microphone in my real ear.
Yeah.
And we can take all those different results and kind of get a map of variation.
It's like mush them together and then be like, that's the difference.
That's what I'm making for you.
Oh, okay.
It's like a variation map.
He also has a pair of the same headphones. We can test the 2. We have a sample size of 2 now, not just 1.
We have unit variation.
Wow. I have to measure it a few times and like wiggle it around a bit to get some variance. Because, every time you put your headphones on, you put them on a little bit different. Look, I know to a lot of you this graph just looks like squiggly lines, but I promise it actually does paint a really good picture for us. This is effectively pretty much as good of a visual representation of how a pair of headphones or speakers sounds as we can pretty much get. Now, before we get too into it, let's get some bearings here. On the left side of the graph is the bass region, the rumble. On the right side of the graph is the high end, the treble, the brilliance, the sparkle when somebody's hitting a cymbal or a triangle. When you hear somebody describe headphones as bright sounding, you'll usually be able to see on the frequency response graph that this end is way high, freaking up there. But really what's important to us is to see how well the yellow line, which is our headphones, the HDB 630s, track within this gray region. And that gray region is very important because it represents what the average human is thought to think sounds good. It's not necessarily like what is the be all and end all of good sound, but it is what most people feel like is good sound. And there's been tons of studies on it. That's why it's a big range, because not everyone is the same and there's multiple studies data that gets put in there. There are very few headphones that can track this line as well as these do, which is why they're so insanely impressive and why they sound so good. The tuning is phenomenal. Part of this graph that is really like properly outside of that preferential space is right on the top end. Most adults will have trouble hearing this. That being said, the rest of the spectrum is pretty much as spot on as it gets. And to prove it, there's a pair of headphones that Sennheiser makes called the HE1s, which are $60,000 and purported to have made many a people cry when they first experienced them. Here is the frequency response of the HE1s. It's not as good of a measurement, but this is the data we have. And not only does it jump out of the preferential part of the spectrum more than our HDB 630s, but like I said, it cost $60,000. And these cost $500 with the fancy dongle that allows you to listen to them on basically any device in full quality. And not only that, you can play them over analog. They have a headphone jack. You can play them over USB-C. They have that. They have excellent active noise cancellation. I've been using them for multiple days now, and I've never experienced an audio product that can truly transport me like these do. The AirPods Pro Max 3, fantastic ANC, not great sound, but these, they're basically as good as it gets for sound quality, and the ANC is fantastic. It's like stepping into another world when you put them on. I was literally at a party and I threw these on and I was like, man, I look like a dork, but I could just like fall asleep right now. If you want IEMs or something more portable, sure. They're not the lightest headphones in the universe, but they sound amazing. And if you care about that at all, it's going to be incredibly difficult to make an argument against buying these over something else. Sony's XM6, dead. XM5, dead. AirPods Max, well, I mean, you could poke the corpse of them, but dead too. Oh, I almost forgot. We gotta see how the mic sounds. Here's a quick sound clip to see what the HDB 630's microphones sound like. I'm connected to my MacBook Pro over Bluetooth. And here's a clip from the HDB 630's microphone using the BTD 700 USB-C dongle because I was curious to see if they'd sound any better with that. And here's what the mic sounds like when you use USB Type-C instead of Bluetooth to connect it. The microphones are not fantastic. I will say that. It's passable for an audio call. So that's pretty much it. The HDB 630's are basically the bee's knees, unless you need to record audio with the microphones, in which case just buy a microphone because, man, you're giving up a whole lot of other stuff for that. So check them out at the link in the description. I'll have the HDB 630s linked down there, along with a couple of the other headphones we mentioned, but genuinely, fucking click the link for these, dude. Holy. So get subscribed, hit the like button, check out my Patreon at the link down below if you want to support the channel, and let me know down below, what do you think of the Sennheiser HDB 630s? Do you like the way they look? Are you excited to try them out? I wish I could give you the sound. The best I can give you is what that graph looked like, and that graph looks fucking sweet.